Another issue that comes up pretty regularly in a workplace at one point or another for most people is feeling stagnant, just not feeling inspired, just feeling dissatisfied with the job. It's not turning me on anymore. What do you do about that? I think by now you can guess my answer, what it's going to be. Your journey is about your spiritual growth. Your journey is a journey to liberation, a journey to finding the deepest part of your being, which is the most beautiful thing in the universe. That happens to be who you are in there. And you have this crust that you built around you, this personal self, this complaining person that thinks things need to be the way they decided they need to be for them to be okay. So dissatisfaction, by definition, means things are not the way that I need them to be to turn me on. That is the epitome of the formula of the personal self. I've had experience in the past that turned me on, but this isn't, so I want to have those experiences again. I could travel more in my job. That would be much more exciting. So because you're not feeling okay inside, because you've not tapped into the depth of the beauty of love and inspiration that exists inside of you, but instead you're trying to live off of the desires and fears of your personal self, then because of this, when the outside environment is not matching those things, you don't feel the inspiration. It doesn't feel like it's working. So the question is, am I going to go out there and keep changing my outer environment, relationships, jobs, etc., to try and match the lowest part of my being? Or am I going to use the situation in front of me, including disappointment and dissatisfaction, to get rid of what is limiting me so that I can only feel inspired under certain circumstances? If you are not feeling inspired, it is not your job's fault, it is not your boss's fault, it is not your spouse's fault, it is your fault. Because the truth of the matter is, you are inspiration itself, you are love itself, you are beauty. That is who you are, that is the nature of your being. If you are staring at another part of your being because you have not let go of it yet or learned how to not stare at it, do you want to devote your life to the lowest part of your being by saying the job is not satisfying, so I need to go do something else? Or do you want to use the dissatisfaction as a way of letting go of yourself? It's not easy, but it's real. It's very real. It's where the tires hit the road, and that's where your real growth comes from. So you're not saying you're going to be there all the time. You're just saying that the job is not what this is about. So for example, let's say you feel dissatisfied with your job. That's you feeling dissatisfied with your job. Let's say I gave you another job, but you kept the same feeling inside. You didn't change yourself. You went to work and you felt the same way inside. Then that job is dissatisfying too. Let's say instead I left you with the same job, but I changed your inner state. So you felt enthusiasm and excitement when you went to the job. Then you wouldn't want to leave the job. You would say it's not dissatisfying. Then dissatisfaction is yours. You own it. You did it. It is not the job. And so basically you get to the point where you say, I don't want to spend my life running after my limitations, because right now only certain things turn me on. Because I assure you, what turns you on today ain't turning you on tomorrow. I went through a dissertation in economics. You know what they taught us? It was called the law of diminishing returns. The more you get something, the less it turns you on. That is a law of economics, and you know it's true. Tell me your favorite meal. I'll give it to you. Wow. All right, I'll give it to you tomorrow for dinner. Wow, I'll give it to you for breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Tell me before you'd rather have some Brussels sprouts. You're going to see there is a law of diminishing returns. The more you experience something, the less it turns you on. Why? Because what it was doing is shocking you from yourself. It was pulling you out of yourself. And by doing that, you were able to feel inspiration. You were able to feel a deeper part of your being because you were no longer caught in your lower self. So you can either run after these blockages, these limitations that you've defined for yourself to try and get inspiration, to try to get turned on, to try to feel love, or you can say, I need to change myself. And where a better place than here? The Buddhists have a saying, bloom where you are. Just basically, here I am. If I change it, eventually I'll be back here because I took it with me. I took myself to the new job. So what I'm going to do is use this to let go of myself. Does that mean you have to stay in the same job all the time? Of course not. Ultimately, you'll find out, I tell you, it's none of your business. The world will unfold. What you're going to find out is if you let go of these parts of yourself that were limiting you, you will not be limited as much anymore. And because you're not limited as much, you will be able to do your job better. And the next thing you know, you're getting raises. Next thing you know, people are hiring you away from somebody else, not because you couldn't handle what you were doing. If you came to me as an employee and wanted me to hire you, but you just done 3 jobs, 3 different employees, and stayed with them for 6 months, and then you got dissatisfied and they asked you, why'd you leave those jobs? Oh, they seemed exciting, then they turned me off. I ain't hiring you because the same thing's gonna happen here. You have to be willing to change yourself. And so even dissatisfaction has an opportunity for spiritual growth because there is no dissatisfaction inside. It's exciting. Little kids can go out and take a rock and a stick and play for 4 hours and think it's the most exciting thing that ever happened to them. But you can't run a machine or design a program or do something. I already did that, right? It's like if you will let go of your personal self, you will find it is all inspiring, it is all beautiful, and you can't wait to do it. If you're the person that can't wait to go to your job and you do it the best that you can, you're not going to be at your job very long because you're going to elevate up. And plus which, you're so contagious that your excitement and your willingness to work as hard as you can and do your best and love it is contagious. And the people around you on your team will start to emulate you. And now you've raised everybody. So instead of getting caught in disappointment and saying, oh, I have the right, I'm not happy, or something like that, you change yourself. And by doing it, you change everything. You change your work, you change the people around you. And naturally, no one's going to leave somebody that competent that made their entire team be much more productive than anyone ever was before or thought they could be. No one's going to leave them in that position. They're going to raise them up to higher positions. So the question is, are you willing to change yourself so that you become better, instead of thinking that what's in front of you has to change for you to be better?